What's up, Hygro Hybrid? Wrapping the fucking room with IR barrier, getting it done. You can see it's working out really well. I mean, just with this stupid light up here, you can see the actual reflectance of these totes. Looks like there's 6 here. There's just 3. So that's it, guys. You know what I did is I just started over here, and you guys know I ran the staples that way. Stopped here. When it comes to insulating the window and kind of giving it that blackout look, you're not trying to really put black up. You're just trying to block the light from leaking through. At the same time, you're trying to insulate the weather conditions between outside and inside, and between the inside and the inside window sill, between your insulation and your ambient air temperatures in the room, so you don't get any condensational buildup. I.e., a perfect example would be if it's cold outside and it's hot in here, there would be a condensational buildup on the inside of the glass. But if on the outside of your insulation, between the insulation and the window, if it's the same temperature or relatively the same temperature as outside, then you're good to go. So this is 1-inch double-sided radiant barrier. It's called Artec. It's about $10 a sheet. A sheet is 4 by 8, so you can cover rather large windows with it, and at the same time you can get the thermal imaging reflectivity properties if you wanted. If you really wanted to, you could actually wrap your entire room with this stuff, and it's $10 a sheet, 1 inch. In the field, I've seen it up to 4 inches thick. Keep your temperature in the room. Don't allow your temperature to go past the window or the poly. Some people just put black and white poly up, and that works, don't get me wrong, but that can cause problems and condensational buildup, especially if the window can't breathe and it's hotter in the room than it is outside. I'm really, so far, just looking at this stuff right here, I'm pretty pleased with the reflectance of it. I mean, look at it, it's pretty vivid. So I can only imagine when this room is lit, we're going to be like one giant light box. At the same time, it looks very easy to clean. All right, let's finish wrapping this room with the anti-thermal imaging reflectant barrier. This shit is pretty heavy duty. I mean, it is construction grade. It's not just grow room stuff. It's pretty thick. You can hear that. So, all right, I'm gonna finish this, and I might need a hand rolling this around the room. All right, we got it done. We have the bottom and the top. The top is 2-inch overlay on the bottom, so it's protected that way. I planned on just stapling it and just leaving it, but I bought the Reflectix tape. I probably wouldn't be using it had I not bought it, but I just bought it because I was there and did not want to go back for anything. So if anything, I'll return everything later. That's kind of what I do. Save yourself some time, guys. I notice that on some days I could literally spend more time at the building supply store, the hardware store, than I do doing anything else for the day. Running around getting this, or I forgot a nut, I forgot a bolt. Like literally, when I plumbed out the system, I had bought more than I needed. I bought a ton of 45s, a ton of 90s, probably double the ball valves than I needed. I just bought everything because I knew in the end I didn't want to have to go back for anything. And I bought more insulation wrap. I bought more than I needed because literally you can spend more time back and forth driving, grabbing little bullshit pieces costing you money and gas and time than the shit actually costs you to buy. So when I'm done, I bag it all up and take it all back. No problem. I can't wait to see how well this insulated totes work when I fire up that chiller. Another thing, we're insulating the lids too. So I'm trying to keep it all the cold in. We're also insulating the pipes. I haven't got that far, but we'll go over that here in a minute. All right, I'm gonna get the seam done, and then after that, we're gonna work on the lids and the pipe. All right, we got the seam tape on here, the Reflectix seam tape. It actually turned out quite nice. I like it. I'm glad I did it. Really easy to go on and just kind of rolled right on. Given that it is foil tape, it didn't stretch or obscure too much. Just went right on. After you're done applying your tape, you can take a rag and kind of go over it. Make sure that it's adhered well. And use a rag so you don't cut yourself on the foil tape. Alright, next step is to insulate the pipe. Altogether we have 40 feet of pipe circulating this room, and we're going to insulate the containers and take all that time and initiative and effort to do that. Insulate your pipes as well, because if you're building something like this, by the time you're done you have 40 feet of PVC circle in the room, and it's eventually just going to become hot and it's going to heat up the water. Because I could not find 1.5 inch, I got 2 5/8, and we're using them just like this. Slide this underneath the pipe, and then take another one and slide it over, peel it and stick it, and you're done. You stick the bottom under first. You peel the plastic off of it, then you start at one end, and as you go, you open this up, put it like that, and then pull your plastic back and it sticks like so, and it's a done deal. Alright, back on track. Fucking holidays fucking shit up for me over here. So we got the pipe insulated, the system is insulated, totes are insulated, everything's great. We finally got the duct up. Definitely trying to use some clamps. When you're running that fan full throttle, you're bound to have a blowout somewhere. You don't want all that heat coming back into your room. 12 hours I waited for this 55-gallon drum to fill up with water, but it's finally full. I'm gonna start getting her full of water. Woo! The moment we've all been waiting for. Well, I've been waiting for. It took me fucking dang near 2 weeks or some shit. I've been working on this a little bit at a time. It's just, you know, being a family, man. What can you do? Alright, man, I'm going to wrap it up and get her running, get some air stones in this water. Woo! Now we're rocking. I'm so happy to see freaking air moving in this freaking totes, I'm telling you. Now I got to work on the nets. I got some pretty innovative shit for that. Stay tuned. Alright, we are done. We're not going to run this tote, and we're not going to run this tote. So let me show you what I did to bypass that. We don't have the plants to run it, so we're not going to run it. Just like so. Pull out a rubber coupling, piece of pipe, basically just bridges this pipe and that pipe together, bypassing the container. So we're running 10 gallons less on the water volume, which makes the chiller 10 gallons more efficient. It's a plus, especially if we're not running a plant there. So what's the point of having water in it? As opposed to this one, I'm going to leave it because I may run a plant about 2 to 3 weeks in. I'd say about between 2 and 3 weeks. I'll put a plant here, and I'll put another 4x net right here, right under this hood. It's actually a 42-inch net, excuse me, 42-inch net, which accommodates the space nicely. It's actually 21 inches on center. This one is also 21 inches on center, so it's a 42-inch net. It's just half a foot short of being 48. So it is done, guys. We are not pulling pressure, or excuse me, we're not going to pull a negative pressure and just do a constant evacuation of the air. We're not going to do that because it's summertime. We need to run an AC, and if we're constantly evac in the air, you're just throwing your money right out the duct, right out the window. There's no point in doing that. It's not cool enough outside to be pulling a positive pressure, pulling a positive pressure. It's not cool enough inside to be pulling a negative pressure to be exhausting, constantly exhausting. Otherwise, if you're constantly exhausting, even in the summertime, what you're doing is you're taking your entire house AC and also throwing it out the window. That may work in some cases where it may or may not be a dedicated house, but in all actuality and just in reality, if you're running an entire house AC just to cool off one room and you're pulling, you're constantly evacing, doing an air exchange, then you're just throwing your money right out the window. The best thing is to run a closed loop, which is what I did up here. This, if you're wondering why I have this rig still, it's because I have the piece of duct here, and in the wintertime we're gonna run it. But right now we're gonna run this. Then we're gonna run these 4 hoods in the summertime. I can fire up this lamp later. I could even do it right now and still have a closed loop, but I'm not gonna go out and buy another duct, and I don't have a plant to run here anyway. So for this run, we're gonna just close off that rope tote, just leave it as is, bypass it for now. When we have plants to accommodate the space, we'll do that then, and then I'll just run the top of that duct to here, okay, or run the top of that to here, there, to there. You kind of get what I'm saying. Kind of like what we did over here. It looks a little complicated. It's only because we're running a hood basically on the other end of the room and trying to revert the air back out. So it all worked. We got what I want to call the Matrix. Welcome to the Matrix. Would you rather take the blue pill or the red pill? Choose one now. I like it. It's a real nice room. Pretty efficient. We have a 400 gallon per hour pump banging away, just full throttle on these totes, and it's circulating really nice. I actually have an inline filter on it as well. It's just a Y-trap. I don't know if you know what that is. I'll show it to you later. Pretty common. You see them on any other hydroponic setup. But we have floating scrog nets, guys. Notice no feet. So I can come in here and shoot. Don't have to have no fucking feet in my way, clumping around. Just gives me more space to work. I can get under here and manage a canopy. I don't have to have a foot there, a foot here, a foot here, a foot there, feet in the back. Fuck that shit. What I did is kind of made the system, the scrog net system, a floating scrog net. What I mean by that is I got some gator bullets, is what I call them anyway. I use them at work. Well, I used to use them at work a lot. I don't anymore. Still in the industry though. So what this allows you to do is, kind of need 2 hands for this, but basically, see how it goes up? And sky's the limit. If I wanted to pitch my net at that angle, I could pitch my net at that angle. If I wanted to bring this net down, watch, I can bring this net down, but I'll also have to bring this one down over here. You can do whatever you want. I've heard people say growing like this is better on the scrog nets. I've heard it's like this. I've heard, I run flat nets, parallel to the ground. But you're pretty much able to do whatever you want and have no feet in your way. And you see, you just pull this cable and it tightens up your nets just like that. And the cable goes all the way to the ceiling and is locked into the ceiling just like that. We have a double barrel permanent clamp and an eye bolt. This is a self-tapping eye bolt. If you guys have ever been shopping in a mall, I'm sure nobody's bothered to look because nobody cares, but most of the ceilings are called drop-down ceilings. They're usually about, I would say, at least 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet of drop-down ceiling, where they run the conduit for electricity, plumbing, some plumbing, sprinkler systems, and they just push those panels up. This is the same kind of stuff that they use to rig drop-down ceilings. Although they don't use these. This hardware is custom hardware, You can't buy that stuff at Lowe's or Home Depot. You're not going to find it at any Ace Hardware. So don't go to your local building supply store with a photo of one of these and say, where do you guys have them? They're not going to have them. I promise you they will not have them. That kind of rigging equipment is custom. I want to say each one of these bullets is probably about $30, and I have 4 of them here. So you do the math. I have more exotic rigging hardware and equipment like that, but it's just stuff sitting in 5-gallon buckets anymore. I don't really use it all that much unless I'm using for my own work. But I'm glad I still had some of it on hand. But you can see that's pretty kick-ass. Floating scrog nets, I'm really liking that. So what I did to get the nets is I wanted to make it a little more diversified than just having a one setting. Right now the lowest setting is 16 inches from the top of the container. Okay? From the top of the container to the net is 16 inches. This net's low now, so that means that on the back of the wall is 16 inches. So I made a 1-foot furring strip to where I can, if I want, I can pull these off or out and unscrew that and screw it to here, which is 6 inches higher. 6 inches higher, so I'm able to go up to 26 inches from the pot. Right now it's set at 16. Typically, I've always noticed when I flower plants, they're always around 16 inches from the top of the pot. They're usually 16 inches tall. So this is that basic setting. If I'm dealing with really big girls for some reason, and if I need to adjust it, I can always come up 1 foot. It works out perfect. So how did I get those on straight? I use a laser level, and it shoots the laser around the room like so. So you pull it up so you guys can actually see that. And I'm able to come over here to a stud, and each one of these are fastened to a stud, not the drywall. So I can come over here to a stud and zip it in with 2 sheetrock nails to the stud, 2 sheetrock nails, and basically keep these furring strips even across the entire length of the wall without having taken any meticulous measurements using a chalk line or a level or anything like that. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice tool to have on hand. But if you like what you see right now, and I really like what I built, build it. I say go for it. That's what if you're wondering what those things are on the back wall, they're basically just like those little things that you screw into. I think they're about $1.89 a piece. You screw them into your stud or somewhere in your garage or your shack to hold shovels, rakes, a mop, a broom, a dustpan, whatever, odd and end gardening tools. You can find these in the basically, I want to say the organization, the shop department, something like that. So that's what they look like. I just drilled a hole and screwed them in, and that's how they are in the back. I haven't fastened them completely to the wall yet. I'm going to put a zip tie once I have my desired plant height. I know that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and put a zip tie there to secure the PVC to this basically like a hook cleat. Same thing there, just put a zip tie so it's fastened to the back, and I'll always be able to raise and lower the scrog net if I see fit. The great thing about this is that putting plants in, I could literally, come up and go all the way up with it, or put it down, or I can pull the back of it out, rest it on the ground, and tilt the top side of this back against the wall, and they'll be completely out of my way. We can do that when we're transplanting and harvesting. Those are the 2 times I'd be doing that. And then I can just ease into scrogging by slowly dropping the net via these. I'm going to show you how these work if you guys weren't paying attention. Push it down and it goes down. Alright, that's it, guys. The room's done. We got two AP60s. Everything's insulated. We got our underlayment, our vapor barrier, our carpet. The PVC is insulated. We're running a 1/4 horsepower chiller. We got a 55-gallon drum with a 100-gallon per day RO. Always on tap on a float valve right here. If you guys can see, that's a little dark in this closet. It's coming from the pump. It's piped through just like this, goes to the chiller, out of the chiller, and into a filter, back into the control module. That's the lid. We're going to be hanging a Blue Lab Guardian. I'm going to be testing and giving you my thoughts about the Blue Lab Guardians. I'm going to hang a Blue Lab Guardian on the wall for you guys. I'm going to be doing that. I've had some questions about them, so whether or not I use them or like them. So by the end of this grow, I'm going to give you my full insight on that. I just have one thing left to do, is basically take this rubber insulation gasket and put it on this pipe, this return pipe. This is going to be the cold water return pipe to the system right here. Sorry, it looks dark in here. It looks dark on the camera anyhow. So that is it. We are running 7 air stones per container, and we are here to rock this bitch this next round. I'm excited. This room, between personal life and just trying to get this room done, it took me on and off about 2 weeks from start to finish, today being that last day. I would say, yeah, about almost 2 weeks. You know, you got holidays, birthdays, fucking family life, shit, you can't do it all in a day by yourself. And I'm the only one working on this, so can only do so much at one time. Plus, you got the 9 and 5 that gets in the way. So, but nonetheless, try to take your time in design and building your room, because in the end, it may take you a few more days, but it's going to be that much more pleasing in the end, because you're going to take your time with the design and do something that you like, that accommodates your space, that's custom for your taste, your style of growing, whatever you see, your method. Build your room for you. And that's how I see it. And one thing I really wanted is these floating nets, and did not want any legs on the ground, so they're suspended from the ceiling. These cables go all the way up, if I haven't showed you those already, fastened to the studs. That's the same principle as those drop-down ceilings in stores. Most people don't bother to look up when they're shopping. I do, because I'm a constructional engineer. That's what I do for a living. So I'm always checking everything out. Kind of strange, but that's what I'm interested in. So, alright guys, this one was a long one. Sorry it took so long for the build, but it's done. And now that the build is done, and now that today is the 1 month anniversary of HiGrowHybrid.com, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the winner of the Site A Scrog contest, the one that we had here 2 months ago. Sorry about that. Originally, the HiGrowHybrid.com was supposed to finish earlier than it did. The website was supposed to be up by 4/20, but it got delayed an entire month, which kind of just offset everything. So originally I intended to, conclude the contest on the website. So being that the website got delayed, everything got delayed. So sorry about that, but now that everything is done, I'm going to go ahead and look through everybody's answers, and I'm going to see who won. I'm looking forward to see who won, and see how close these people got. I think we got something like 4, 5, 6, maybe like 600 guesses. I'm just kind of curious how many people are going to be like fucking this close. Alright, peace out, HiGrowHybrid. Done. Pimp my room. Woo! Haha! We're going to be growing some shit up in here. Oh, by the way, we're going to run 1,000 here, 1,600, 1,600, 1,600s. We're going to be running 600s for the summer. We're just going to run that 1K in the center just to kind of, balance everything out, whatever you want to call it. It's going to work out nice. Peace out.